Hello.
Hello.
We are Loops and Lap Bars.
We are indeed.
As you probably know by now. We're here at Drayton Manor for the Vikings event, which is, for me, is completely overshadowed by the fact that I am actually here to ride Shockwave as much as possible before it becomes sit down only.
Yeah.
But we've been in the park now. What time is it? It's
about 12 o'clock.
It's 12:30, so we've been in about 2 hours and just had a sort of meander around. We've already done the little quest, haven't we, for the Vikings?
Yep, we'll get a sticker.
I got a sticker. Good bit of fun. You just put some letters around and you just got to find them and figure out what the word is. I was expecting it to be Viking, it's not. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil that, but yeah, go and find that one out for yourself. And yeah, just wandered around, not really done an awful lot. It's Drayton Manor.
Yeah.
It does feel like Vikings at the moment is very similar to the other events.
Yeah.
It's just that instead of it being summer nights, it's got Viking horns on it.
Yeah.
And the park is once again quite dead.
Quite dead, yeah. We're working on the hypothesis that essentially Drayton Manor are limiting entries to keep ride queues down and sort of make the park just generally nicer to kind of be in.
Yeah,
Which if they are, then that's good, I think.
And I'd like them to advertise that if they are doing that. If they're not doing that, and it generally is a case that just people aren't coming, then hopefully it's not death knell for them. But we will go into that towards the end of the video because I've got quite a lot to talk about because this is potentially our last visit this year to Drayton Manor, and I'll say potentially. I'll explain a bit later on anyway. But yeah, now I think we're probably going to go find some dinner, ride accelerator and whatnot, just sort of have a general good time. Got Loops and Donuts with us as well, and they're just over there doing their thing. So yeah, take her around and we'll enjoy the rest of the day.
Will do, yep.
Doing some work on Drunken Barrels by the looks of it, but it was advertised on the website before we came, so we knew it wasn't going to be in action. Bit of a shame because it's a bit fun, but yeah, some Drunken Barrels is out.
So, here we are in the car.
Yes.
What can we say about today? I think disappointing is gonna be the word of the day.
Yeah, and it's what it's felt like, at least to me. It's felt like Drayton Manor. That's it. There was supposed to be a couple of shows on. One of them being a fire show, wasn't
Yeah.
there? There was like Rory's sing along and
Yeah,
things
the
like
Rory sing-along. Rory sing-along, that happened. That was quite good fun. But there was meant to be 3 fire shows today, and there's been absolutely no sign of them. Now, admittedly, for one of them, the weather has turned a little bit on the bad side, so they've potentially not put that on for the weather, but there was no reason not to put the other 2 on.
that. Yeah, the one at the very end of the day,
Yeah.
because that's the one we waited around for. It didn't happen, and there was no indication of where it was going to be or anything like that. And yeah, it's really not felt like an event. But that's leading me quite nicely onto Drayton Manor as a whole. All their events are the same.
Yeah.
I've felt, and I know it's their first year kind of doing it, but Summer Nights was just a DJ who wasn't really all that. He was just putting tunes on, sort of thing, and a dance off, and that was about it. Coronation Street Party, fair enough, there was a bit more went on about that, but that was just an elongated version of Summer Nights.
Yeah, and
then,
it did have a firework display though, Coronation Street did, which was good. The firework display was nice.
But Vikings has been kind of...
Yeah, Vikings, to be fair, today has been the weakest out of all of them.
Yeah.
Not to sound too negative, Bride Ops today have been good. And they've been
Apart
getting
from
through,
one, but we'll go on that one.
Sorry. Bride Ops today have been good. And to be fair, the park's not been overly busy either.
Which is, I think, a
which is
negative.
nice.
I think that's actually a negative. Now, we mentioned earlier on about the fact that do Drayton Manor reduce tickets, or are people just not turning up, sort of thing? And if they're not turning up, then that's bad for Drayton Manor. If Drayton Manor are saying, no, we'll only sell X amount of tickets and X amount of people turn up, that's good, because it does mean that you can get on more things.
Yeah.
But... I don't know. I think it feels like that they're not selling the tickets as opposed to not having the tickets there in the first place. Because the car park, we were on Shockwave. You can see the car park. It was about half full at the absolute maximum. And speaking of Shockwave, it was nice to say goodbye to the coaster, but not in the way I wanted to. So we did end up getting 2 rides on it throughout the day because we were doing all sorts of things. And when we were going to come to the final ride, it went about 5:30, and it was having technical difficulties. And they were sending the train round, to cycle it, sort of thing, empty. And it was about by the time we got there, about 10 minutes left of the day, and they weren't going to put anyone else on it, which is, I suppose, fair enough. But I still think it's the wrong move to completely remove the stand-up trains on Shockwave. They should try, I think, and keep the stand-up trains in place and have sit-down ones as well. There's nothing wrong with that. That way everyone's happy. And on to the, speaking more of Shockwave, operations were dismal on it. The very first train that we went on, we were stood there. It must have been a good 2.5 minutes, something like that, while the ride operators were stood in the booth talking to each other. It's a case of, if there's a reason, tell us why there's a reason, but otherwise don't just start gassing, get trains out.
Yeah, we were on the first ride of the day, and it was my only ride on Shockwave today, because this morning it was quite jerky. Now, Shockwave, it is an old coaster, I expected to be jerky in places. This morning it was properly on the headbang side, which is unusual for Shockwave, and especially for the first one of the day. So I don't know if there's anything going on there, or that it's just the ride showing its age, or it was just a bad ride.
Yeah, it could be any one of those things. I don't think it was that bad myself, but we were at the very back. You were second row or something.
Second row, yeah.
And then the ride that we had later on in the day, we were in row 3, and it was sort of rattly and stuff like that. But Shockwave. Other than Shockwave, there's not really been anything else sort of remarkable to talk about, as the. You've been at a recycle accelerator a couple of times. Some of the rides were closed, which didn't make sense. Drunken Barrels, as I saw earlier on, is undergoing some work. But why was Dodgems Ahoy closed?
Yeah.
That didn't really make any sense to me. And what wasn't advertised, the River Rapids never opened.
Yep.
That was completely closed throughout the full day. We didn't go in Thomasland, so we didn't see anything in Thomasland that might have or might not have been open. But other than that, ride availability was exactly as we expected.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, the only other disappointment with today has been essentially possibly the food offerings. Now, the sausage place in Walhalla, that was open today for Vikings, so it was nice to see that open. Now, we were planning to go to the pizza place for tea tonight. Now, usually, average day, that closes about 15 minutes before the park closes. But today, it was closed a whole near enough 45 minutes before the park actually did close.
We actually got there for 5 o'clock.
Disappointed with that.
Because we were looking forward to Drayton Manor Pizza, because it's definitely
nice.
something that's worth talking about. But yeah, 5 o'clock we got there. It's shut. And unacceptable is not the word, because I don't want to come across a bit too pompous or anything like that. But it would have been nice for that to have been open, because the chicken place was closed as well, which meant that your options were fish and chips, hot dogs, which weren't anything special. They were nice, but you could buy them at any point in the park. They weren't specifically put on for Vikings, and burgers. So yeah, food offerings were a bit sort of lax. And yeah, overall, probably not going to be doing too many more visits to Drayton Manor. I think we've exhausted it this year with the season passes. We potentially won't be coming back for the what's it called?
The Horror Nights, or the Halloween festival.
Night at the Manor is what it's called. Yeah, we probably won't be coming for that. But we very well might be, and that is entirely dependent on what Drayton Manor say with regards to recording on rides. Now, I've been told multiple different stories by multiple different people about Drayton Manor having really, really strict rules and regs on recording on rides. I've sent 2 emails off and not heard anything back, but we went into guest services today, and they were really lovely. They said, because Shockwave obviously is going to be closing in its current form, I said, am I right to record on rides? Is there anything that can be done to do that? And they sent an email off to their marketing team, so I'm hoping to hear back from that. If I hear back from that, then I'll be coming back, because I do want to get that video on Shockwave before it goes. However, if I don't hear anything back, then yeah, we won't be doing Drayton Manor again this year. And for me, I don't know about yourself, but I will do one more visit to Drayton next year.
Possibly just to see what
the new roller coasters,
the new roller coaster that's going in,
and also what they do to Shockwave.
Yeah. Other than that will be it.
Because we've been with Loops and Donuts, and I can't obviously speak for their kids, but their kids are what Drayton Manor are going to be targeting, and both of them have said the same thing. Oh, do you want to go on Accelerator, or do you want to go on Shockwave? We'll go on Shockwave all day the week.
Yeah.
And why would you bring your kids to Drayton Manor when you can go to Alton Towers, which is just up the road, and that appeals to a lot more? That's just my personal opinion, and I don't want anybody to get too upset about that. If Drayton Manor is your favourite park, it's perfectly acceptable, because I love Flamingoland, and everyone seems to hate Flamingoland. But, yeah, I would like to see Drayton Manor stop going down the
family route.
Not necessarily the family route, but going down the same way that Lightwater Valley's gone. In that they completely alienate anybody who's not what they call their target demographic. But that's probably me jumping the shark, because when they bring this new coaster in, this Intamin the lift and launch coaster they've got, it might surprise me. Yeah. Exactly the same as what Storm Chase did at Paulton's Park. Paulton's Park targets the demographic that what Drayton Manor's targeting, and they've got some stellar rides there. So yeah, we'll see what they do.
Yep.
So I think we've been kind of exhaustive. I do hope that I've not come across as a bit too pompous and up my own sort of bum about everything, because I'm not a massive critic or anything like that. I think I am.
Yeah.
But I do think that getting opinions out is a good thing. 'Cause all that you hear on the internet and videos is positive, 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 and you can't reinforce change without saying negatives.
Yep.
Drayton Manor's not terrible. The staff are wonderful. A lot of their awards that they won, they're well deserved. But I think that there's a lot of things that they can do to improve, and hopefully they do that.
Yeah.
Definitely improve the events, please.
Yeah.
A lot, just finally on the events, the stuff that's been put on this year, Merlin puts on in their parks throughout the year. There will be stages on with people singing, or there'll be a DJ on, or live music in some some shape or form. So anything you want to add on that?
No, I think everything's been covered.
Yeah, so that's us potentially signing out for the last time for Drayton Manor this year.
Yep.
I know we've bombarded Drayton Manor this year, but tomorrow we are at Alton Towers,
yep.
for our second last visit of the year, because we've got fireworks coming up later on. But looking forward to seeing what Subterra is going to be like and whatnot. So we'll see you at Alton Towers tomorrow. Once again, thanks again for Loops and Donuts and joining us and putting up with our wafflings. And everybody take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.